Hello and welcome, and thank you for tuning in to Habits of Influence, a project by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, where we discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly aspects of building a movement, and hopefully provide insight, as well as motivation for your business journey. Through the combined expertise of 34 years in business, your hosts, Magdalena Hanah and Ian Menheimer, are here to empower and indirectly mentor you whilst you become the person others wish to follow. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Habits of Influence, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly sides of entrepreneurship and how to be a person that others wish to follow and keep your sanity in the process. As usual, every single week with you, it's me, Magdalena Hanah, and my co-host,
Ian Menheimer.
And today we wanted to talk to you about their sanity specifically. Actually keeping a leveled head and at the same time trying not to take yourself too seriously in the process. This is due to recent experiences that my lovely co-host has had, but you're going to hear all about it today. So welcome to everybody that is coming back yet another week. We really love and appreciate you being with us, sharing, giving your comments, and sending your messages of what you would like to hear in every single episode. Remember that if you have a topic that you would like us to discuss, send it over to our email at habitsofinfluence@gmail.com, which is going to show up on the screen right now. And for those that are listening on the podcast, you will probably find it in the description below this episode. And if you are joining for the first time, hello, it's lovely to have you here. Every single week we discuss topics all about business and being a business owner, every single aspect, the good, the bad, the lovely, the ugly, the stinky, everything that everybody else does not wish to talk about. Right, Ian. Also to see you yet another week. Today we are both cash. Awesome. If you're listening on the podcast, better get yourself to YouTube so you can see our lovely t-shirts. We are actually twinning today. So now that's a new thing. We never do. We synchronized.
Yeah, usually you're all dressed nice and I'm in a t-shirt.
Yeah, I honestly don't care.
So you stepped it down a notch, went down to my level a little bit, wore some graphic tees. Are these considered graphic tees or just worded tees? I don't know.
Or maybe I'm finally just showing you that's the way I look. That's actually how I walk around on a daily basis. That's how I work behind the scenes if I do not need to do any lives or if I don't have to show up. And to be quite fair, it fits perfectly to today's topic, because today we are going to talk about kind of letting your hair down, being a little bit more natural, a little bit less entitled, and not taking yourself as seriously. Obviously we do need to take our business seriously, and this is something that we have to pay attention to at all times, even when it is that we are relaxing, even when we are moving away from our business, even if we are putting our business in the hands of our teams, those that have teams, we still at the back of our head, we are always being very, very serious, and we're always weary of what's happening, right? But there are times and there are aspects where you just need to laugh, right? You just need to let go. And I
Absolutely.
think I'm waiting for your story, Ian, because you just started, but I think our listeners could really benefit, because do you know what? I didn't have my best month actually last month as well, and I'm going to talk about it later, but I'm really curious why you wanted to discuss this specific topic today.
Well, there's a few different reasons. And I mean, I think, the first and foremost, I mean, it's great because we didn't discuss this before today, and you showed up with your shirt, which is great. And my shirt, this is one of my favorite shirts. This is one of my son's gave me a shirt. Says "Sprinkles are for winners," and there's a lot of story behind that. I love sprinkles. I have no shame. We were out one night. I had my crew out, and we went this Mongolian grill, and at the end, they're all bringing stuff around, and they're asking, it was like at the end of the meal, they said, "Do you want ice cream?" And yeah, would you like caramel? Would you like hot whatever, the chocolate, whatever stuff on the chocolate syrup? And they get to me and I'm like, "Do you have sprinkles?" And I'm sitting here in front of a group of a bunch of guys, and I'm like, "Sprinkles, really?" sprinkles.
Oh,
I'm
do you
like,
like
I'm
them
like,
colorful ones? Do you
I
like them
do.
with the
I love
rainbow?
rainbow sprinkles.
Oh, that's so cute.
So
That's absolutely
so
cute.
that was a running joke. So the running joke in my warehouse is everyone calls me Grandpa Sprinkles. Um, but so
I
my
can
son
imagine
got.
it doesn't go down well with the guys, does it?
I really don't care. But that's exactly the point of this topic is not taking yourself too seriously, being able to laugh. And I think the story you're referring to is about recent situations, which I'll go ahead and share it because why not? We're on the topic. So about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I don't know what it was. My Facebook account was hacked and completely shut down. And it's really funny because I really am not a huge fan of Facebook, but I didn't realize until that point how intertwined my life really is with Facebook. And what I mean by intertwined is no, I don't live on Facebook. I'm not like dying to post or scroll or whatever. But in an instant, literally in an instant, flash, boom, like that, everything was taken from me. So when I say everything, I mean I can't access my business Facebook pages. 5,000 contacts gone. Any post I've ever done gone. Any comment I've ever done on anybody else's post gone. Any message I've ever sent anybody gone. Any picture I had of my kids, my family, business, motivational quotes, any inspirational things I've ever posted gone. Everything is completely wiped out and I can't access it. And I got a message that just says, because I went through the appeals process and it says we have fewer whatever people do review right now. We may not be able to review your case. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
And
So
why?
yeah, it says because the COVID-19 pandemic, which was,
Mm,
whatever, people are still using that as an excuse to not do things. I don't
I
know.
mean, like, it's used whenever it's suitable. I've noticed
Yeah.
recently. It's
So
it's whenever it's not suitable, it's gone. Whenever it's suitable, it's still there.
yeah. So there was that. There was other personal stuff that I don't want to share here due to some stuff with family that
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
may not want me to share. But there was a series of different things. So I'm fighting this and I can't get my Facebook account back up. And then I create a new Facebook account because I'm like, okay, well, I can't access my old one. And there's people, I because I have managers on my business Facebook page that said, oh, people are sending messages. I can't get in there. So I mean, they can respond, but I can't. And because I
See,
didn't
it's good
assign
you've
it.
got those managers, though,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
It's
but they're not admins, so they can't add me back. So anyway, I create a new Facebook account, and then Facebook shuts me down again because it says, looks like you have a duplicate account and we don't believe you're really you. So I had to go in and show my ID and do all this stuff. And Facebook had zero support. Like there is no support. You can't email somebody. You
No,
can't
there
call.
is absolutely zero contact with them.
You can't call somebody. They just have this system that they go through. And so it's extremely frustrating. And then they reactivate my second account, the one I just created. So I went from like 5,000 contacts down to like, I think I have like 300 or something now. And then they allow me to go on Facebook, but I can't do anything on Facebook. So I can scroll, but I can't comment, I can't send a message, I can't post anything. Anytime if I hit the like button or a little heart or whatever, it says you're not allowed to perform this function. If I go to comment, it says we've restricted your access to this due to safety. I'm like, what can I freaking do? Just look at Facebook. And
Oh no.
so of course, my Instagram account was linked to my Facebook. So that was shut down. This morning I got a notification. My WhatsApp was shut down. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? You can't make this stuff up. And that's kind of what I wanted. One of the reasons I want to talk about this is you just have to, sometimes life is going to punch you. Sometimes it's going to want to kick your ass. And you just have to be able to sit back and laugh and be like, what is the message in this? For me, I'm like all about science and things like that. I'm like, so I'm sitting here trying to figure out what message am I receiving? Am I trying to get this message of it's time to refocus somewhere else? Is it time to simplify my life? Maybe I'm spending too much time online. Maybe this is my kick to really focus on other areas. And like we talked about, or what you said a little while ago about taking your business very seriously. Maybe it's time for me just to dive in harder into certain different areas of my business and not worry about social media.
Yeah.
And there's all different perceptions, but the fact it's so easy to get wrapped up in the hustle and bustle of life of, oh, I have to do this. I have to make the sales go. I have to do this. I have to do that. And, even with kids, I've got to do homework. I got to clean the house. I got to cook dinner. We get so wrapped up in everything that we have to do. We forget to sit back and laugh. We
Mm.
forget to sit back and say, tomorrow's another day. We forget to go and just be able to just really enjoy life, because we get so sucked into the seriousness, the stress, the bills, the financial stuff, the needing to do this, the needing to do that. And we don't take the time just to sit back and appreciate and just enjoy life and laugh and just be able to say, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I mean, I'm sitting here and just thinking, and sometimes it gets so damn bad that the only thing that you can actually do is sit down and laugh. And the whole tension, the pressure that you've been accumulating with everything's like, oh my God, when is this happening? It just goes away from you, because if you have a good laugh, at a certain point, even if it's just the kind of laugh where you have absolutely no influence on anything, and you know that it's not going to change anything, so therefore you laugh, but it does make you feel better, doesn't it? It's like, oh my God, it's like, what, why is this happening? And the funny thing is about it, it never stays this way, right? Because life, that's what life is, right? Some things, sometimes the negative, it combines at the same time, and it just keeps on crashing down, one after another, one after another, one after another, and then it jumps back up, in the least expected moment, where it's just like, okay, I have absolutely zero influence on everything that is happening. I just like, this is ridiculous. This is beyond ridiculous. And then it suddenly jumps up and like, what? Why? Where? What? What just happened here? Right?
There was something, and this was years ago, and I used to think about this when I was teaching. I used to bring this up to my students when they're struggling, is, there are certain things that happen to us right here in this moment right now, and it feels really heavy, or it feels like we just can't handle it, and it feels like, oh my God, life is over and all this. But in the reality, in the grand scheme of things, how badly does this one little situation really affect us? It's 10 years from now, is this whatever person pissed us off, whatever, driver cut us off on the road, whatever bill we didn't pay, or whatever, we didn't clean the house today, 10 years down the road, is that really going to matter? And you have to sit back and say, no, it really doesn't. And be able to sit back and remove ourselves from the current situation to be able to say, how important really is this? And I joke around about the Facebook thing, because I'm always like, I don't like Facebook. I'm not a huge fan of it. But, and I'm going to share the story real quick. I hope if you're okay with it. And
Absolutely.
I'm not going to go into too many details, but my mom was in the hospital, and that's how she communicates with me, just through Facebook. And because of the surgery she had, she didn't have the energy to get on a phone or talk on a phone. So the only way she could do it, like, she could barely even use her hands because she had freaking machines and shit hooked up. And it's like the only way she could communicate with me was through Facebook, because she doesn't text, or all of her messaging goes through Facebook Messenger. So when that was shut down, I couldn't communicate with her, and I couldn't go to the hospital because she's only allowed to have one visitor per day, and her husband was there, so that I couldn't go in to see her. So grateful he would call me every day and communicate. So to me, that was a big deal. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but hey, my mom's having this situation and I can't even communicate with her. And that to me was huge. Is it huge right now? No, she's home. I can drive over there and see her. Great. But at that point, it was hugely chaotic and hugely stressful for me. And it was a big, on top of not being able to access my business account and losing all my messages and everything. I think I started my Facebook in 2007, 2008. So what was that? 14 years,
Yeah, a lot.
something like that. It's like 14, 15 years. It's like, that's a lot of stuff that just went by. And it, it's like being wiped off the face of the earth. It was so weird. It was so weird. But, and it's funny because, not related to the Facebook thing, but, being able to talk with my mom, we just laugh at stupid stuff. And it was funny because we would alternate days. Her husband would go to the hospital one day and I go the next day. And I'm a smart aleck. I'm relentless. I don't care. I talk trash. And she'd sit there and start laughing. She's like, don't make me laugh. It hurts. But we sit there laughing because, you just have to turn, because she'd sit there like, she'd try to fall asleep, and then the nurse would come in, or she'd fall asleep and somebody had to stick her with another needle. And it was like, it was one thing after. I'm like, Mom, you just gotta laugh at this. Like, you just can't. She's like, all I wanted to do is sleep. And then the minute she started to doze off, how are you doing today? It's like, oh my God.
Your mom's savage. Yeah, but that's it. That's the good lesson. See, it's great whether it's business advice or life advice or any sort of advice really, because like we're saying, it's not a case of like, it's not always going to be peachy and rosy, right? I've got my own story for throughout the past month. I had been struggling a little bit with my health, and the reason for that is, I mean, it's inherently good because I've made certain decisions to improve my health. I also found out that I have thyroid problems and all sorts of stuff that I'm now being prescribed medication. So we actually have to dose this medication in a good way. And before that happens, before we find the correct dose with my doctor, I have all sorts of, let's say, sensations that I should not be having, stomach problems, had massive headaches, migraines, to the point that I wake up, I don't know what my name is, that really strong. And I also quit smoking after 25 years of smoking cigarettes, which is, yeah.
Congratulations.
I wish I could, be happy about it and just say, wow, yay for me. I mean, yes, yeah, yay for me. But before it actually gets to the point of me being happy and seeing the results or the blissful side of not smoking, it's going to be a while, because it turns out, like, you always want to be in those 1%, 3% of things. I am in a bloody 10% of people that are struggling the worst side effects that you could actually struggle after quitting
Oh,
a certain thing. So in my situation, it kind of looks like a little bit like in those American movies, where you have like those drug addicts. I don't know, we'll have to quack out that word. Yeah, where you're like shaking and like you feel like your insides are being ripped out of you. That's what I was feeling. And generally I'm not myself, like the normal, focused and really happy, energetic self. And it's been a rough month. But I'm still here. I'm still showing up. Not only that, I've decided to, show up a little bit more on camera, show up a little bit more on live on video. Sensitive topic, a little bit too soon. I'm showing up live on Facebook because
wow.
I can. So sorry for that. Aw. Um, and yeah, and things, just life is going on. I'm not really talking about my struggles that I have behind the closed doors. I do have very close friends, you being one of them, who I can discuss those things with, but generally just not, that's the way it is. But like I said, I'm still there. I'm still showing up. I'm still there for my business, because my business is the most important thing for me. But I did cut down on certain things that I decided they are not as necessary or as useful at this particular time, because I just can't. I don't want to talk about what's going on with me, and at the same time, like you say, I'm so I it's come to the point where I have absolute zero influence over what is happening. So I just decided, okay, I'm just going with the flow. It must pass. It must get better. According to the rule that I said in the beginning, it always bounces back up. So there always are solutions. So that's it. That's for our audience. There will always be a time where you will realize, or you will wake up one day and everything is going to be all fine and dandy again, or at least on the rise up, and there is never a situation that you can't get out of. But sometimes just life kicks us in the balls, and that's just it. Whatever the lesson is, like you said, you're waiting for a lesson. Whatever the lesson is, you might find out in a month's time, 2 months time, a year from now,
You may
or
never find it.
after many years. It depends. But the thing is, there might not be a lesson sometimes. It's just,
Sure.
it might be a very bad period in your life. uh
Well, you
but
touched on
laughing
something that,
does help. Laughing does
yeah,
help. Not taking yourself so seriously does help. And
yeah, and you brought something up that made me think of, when I went through the whole cancer journey, it was the same thing. I had no control. There's something growing inside my body. I had
hmm,
no control of that. What I have control over is how I think about it. How I have control over is how I react to it. What I allow to control myself. And you really have to, when you go through something like that, when it's a life change or a health issue or losing a job or financial, whatever, you have to sit and say, what is within my control and what's not within my control. And at that point, like for me, like what you have going on with your health, what I had going on with my health, there was no control. I couldn't just say, oh, I'm going to eat healthier now and that cancer is going to be gone. I mean, yeah, there are studies, all that, but it's like, it was there. I couldn't do anything that it was already there. And I had a choice to either say, okay, let's go at this thing and figure it out. Or I could have gotten into a major depression and shut down, or said, okay, what do I have control over? What don't I have control over? And what I do have control over, I have control over my mindset, or the way that I think. I have control over how I treat people. I have control over how I respond to these situations. There's not much we have control over. So I chose to focus on what I did have control over. And going off what you said about the not taking ourselves too seriously, for me, I had to learn this, and it took a long time to learn it, because for a while I was super serious. I was always serious, grinding, had to be on business. I had to get this phone call. I had to get this client. I had to, and I would bend over backwards for certain clients, and I would say, oh yeah, it was the yes to everything. Yes. Oh, I only have this much. Can you do it? Yes, I'll do it. I'll be there. Always yes, and running myself ragged, and from a business standpoint, I had to learn the value. I had to learn to say no. And this was a huge game changer for me. And I know it's a little off topic, but I'm just diverting, but I'll come back to where I was going with it. Was I listened to Rory Vaden's podcast, or not podcast, TED Talk, and this quote stuck with me so strong. He said, so many people are afraid to say no. But what you don't realize is every time you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to a great many other things. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, wow, I never thought about that. I say yes to this client, or yes to helping a friend move, or whatever. I'm saying no to spending time with my family. I'm saying no to working on my business. I'm saying no to working on my website. I'm saying no to enjoying a movie. I'm saying no to going out to dinner. I'm saying no to whatever, and many other things could be. That could be bringing me joy or happiness or whatever, or being more productive for myself, or helping my business, or being there for my kids, or whatever. And I was like, wow, and that was where I had to realize also for myself to not take everything so seriously, and not have to make every sale, not have to respond to every email in 10 seconds, not have to answer every phone call. At a certain time, I can turn my phone off now. There were times where I would leave my phone on, and I would answer a phone call at 2:00 in the morning if it came in, because I didn't want to miss that client. I didn't want to miss that sales opportunity. I want to provide the best customer service out there. Well, I still can provide the best customer service out there if I don't answer my phone call at 2:00 in the morning. Actually, I'll probably provide better customer service, so I'll actually get a good night's sleep. So it's learning to balance that. And when it comes back to the taking ourselves seriously, it's really learning to balance and figure out, enjoy life, have fun, be a goofball, be silly. And what sparked my idea with this conversation was, we have, some episodes coming up, and we're my favorite month. We're in October, going into Halloween. That's my favorite. I love Halloween. So I'm like, when we do our Halloween episode, I want to dress up in something funny. When we go into, the next, Thanksgiving or Halloween, who knows? Maybe I'll come with a turkey on my head. I don't know. But you just got to be able to just be silly and have fun and enjoy life. And if you don't enjoy life, it's going to kick your ass.
All right. So if we're here, and if we were to inspire our listeners, and if you've been with us throughout this whole episode, you're in for a treat, because I think we have to talk about 3 things or 4 things that would allow you to learn how to take yourself a little bit less seriously, a little bit like practical steps that you can do in order to get yourself in that mind frame of like, screw it. Let's just have fun. Let's just laugh about it. Let's just let go of the pressures and go with the flow, because having that information at the back of your head that it is going to in fact get better, because it always does. So the first one I would actually pinpoint over here is the awareness, and the awareness of, okay, it may be crap right now. Things may be, not going the way I want it to be, but what I just said, but it never stays this way. If I don't stay this way, if I don't dig deep down, with my heels into the misery and feeling a victim, and just feeling sorry for myself of how bad things are right now, and just reinstating or reaffirming every single day of what is happening to me. This is bad, this is happening, I'm blocked on Facebook, my family has got problems, I've got health issues, and so on and so on. I know people like that who wake up, and their prerogative, the main the main thing that they are doing from the very moment they open their eyes is slagging themselves off from top to bottom, just saying of, oh, I'm so unhappy, oh, I don't like myself, oh, I'm not where I want to be. And they just kind of,
choosing to stay stuck because they refuse
yes,
to.
they choosing to stay within that energy. And not only that, they just cultivate that energy so it's stronger and gets stronger every single day, because it's like, it's like sitting down and having this uh just trying to kind of hurt yourself on purpose. It defeats the objective, and it kind of just makes the energy stronger. It makes you more embedded in that situation, in that place. It makes it harder to get out of it, and that's what causes all sorts of depressions, all sorts of mental health problems. Because if you stay there for a prolonged period of time, and just stand against the thought that it will get better, if you allow it to get better, then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse gradually.
What so many people don't realize is what we focus on is going to grow. So if we focus on the negative, we're going to see more negative. If we focus on positive, we're going to see more positive. And when you say, choosing to stay there, it's not just believing things are going to get better. It's finding things to be grateful for. Because when we take the opportunity to find little things to be grateful for, our life does improve. It's
Yeah.
so simple. And
And
what
that
so
and
many
that's
people.
step two. That's step two, because first, like I said, it's the awareness. The awareness where we are, acceptance within the awareness, the acceptance that that's what's happening right now, but also the awareness that it is in fact going to get better. Then it's the little things. It's being grateful, like you said, for the little tiny things that happen every single day. And every day there are things to be grateful for. Well, I have a roof over my head. I didn't, wake up in the middle of the road. Or, I do have some food in my fridge. Or I do have fresh water. Or I have the love of my closest people. Or, I have good friends. There are always things, just the fact that you have your mom to talk to, regardless of where she is, regardless of the difficulties of the means of how you're going to communicate, but she's there. You can always find a way to communicate with her, something to be grateful for.
And sometimes it's even more simple than that. The fact that you woke up in the morning,
Yeah.
and it's
I mean,
amazing how.
we have to be very, very careful here, because there are some people who are not really very happy that they wake up in the morning,
But
and that's
but
and that's
but
all right too.
but there are a lot of people that don't get that opportunity. And I revert to one of my sons all the time because little things that we take for granted. One of my sons has a prosthetic leg. I guarantee he would wish every day that he would love to have a second leg.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of us
Sometimes
have.
I'm just saying, sometimes, comparisons don't work. It's
No,
like,
no.
I used to have a grandfather who used to always say that I have to eat my dinner because children in Africa have nothing to eat. And I feel sorry for children in Africa, and I feel deeply, I'm sending lots of love, and I support every charity that I can in regards to children in Africa having food. But the fact that I don't eat will not feed a child in Africa. And that's what I always say as a comparison. And sometimes, just saying, I have this discussion with my mom a lot of the time, when I say, I'm just feeling sorry for myself. Sometimes I'm in this victim mode. We all do get to sit in that victim mode. It's just up to you what you do with it. And I just say, right now I'm feeling really, really bad. And if my mom tells me like, but other people have it worse, I literally am saying, I don't care what other people have. Because for me, this problem is the biggest problem I have at this moment right now. And I don't want to think about problems of other people. Sometimes you are selfish, and sometimes it's good to be selfish, because in order to attain that acceptance, you need to first sit a little bit in that victim mentality, a victim mode, and the fact that, hey, it's me, I'm the most important to me, and I need to get out of this crappy situation and get better, right? So part of the acceptance is also allowing yourself to feel yourself to the fullest, right?
I would agree with that. I don't know about victim mentality, but being able to sit and be able to say, "Yeah, I'm hurting right now," or "I'm upset," but not having that
See, that's just
helplessness.
I just like being real, Let's not Buddha ourselves, yeah. I'm not an enlightened person. I'm a normal human being, like 99.9% of society, and I will sit in my in my shit from time to time. Like everybody will sit in their shit from time to time.
I
And
think
let's not make
everybody
ourselves,
does.
more saints than we are, because we are all in this victim mentality. That's another thing that that we need to stop propagating, is that, oh, you're in the first stage of like growth, inner growth mental. You're always going to fluctuate between the levels, between enlightenment, between visionary, between victim mode. You always kind of jump in between those states. It's never the case that you are just going to be in one or the other. You are not, like I said, don't Buddha yourself. Yeah, it's not like, unless you're literally unshakable, sitting there meditating 24 hours a day. uh
Well, I think
don't bullshit me
I
that you're
think
not in the victim mode.
well, I think there's a difference, and we can maybe talk about this at another point in another episode. But I think there's a difference between victim mode and being real with where we're at. Because I visualize victim mode
Those
as
are two
low,
different things, but I'm saying
right?
that sometimes you are in victim mode as well. Those times like, nothing is working out for me. My clients are now can't make it. I'm not having enough money, and my child has just said something to me, and she doesn't love me anymore, and my spouse doesn't love me, and they didn't appreciate my new hair, and and it's just like there's lots of that's victim mentality, that's victim mode, and it's absolutely fine as long as you don't stay there. I have this rule, I have this unspoken rule. Even if I am in that and I'm soaking myself in that victim thing, that victim feeling, I love it, because I know that I'm going to do it this night, this evening, and I'm going to wake up in the morning and be like, all right, okay, that's it, let's go. All right, so the solutions to, right, if I don't like this, I need to do this. If I don't like that, I need to do that. And that's stage number 3, right? So we've had like, okay, we're in this super deep shit, but we are actually experiencing, we are acknowledging it, and now then we're starting to be grateful, to feel a little bit better, to notice the things around us. And now stage 3 is, what is the solution to that? I don't like that, what can I replace it with? Clients are not coming, how can I improve my sales? Things are not, my son is not speaking to me in the way I would want it. Let me check myself with myself if I'm speaking the way to him that would encourage him to speak better. No, let's change that. That's stage number 3, the action stage, where we can just look at things and just decide, okay, all right, I was sulking a little bit, it was a little bit crap, yeah, and now let's change that. Let's go further so that we can bounce back.
Keep going. You're on a roll. Keep going.
I'm on a roll. Oh my god, yes, because that's what I do. That's what I actually use. I'm not just talking it for the sake of talking. I'm not just talking it for the sake of making it sound beautiful. And I'm sure it's not as eloquent as Wayne Dyer would put it, or any other wonderful public figure. But this is actually practical. This is actionable. This is something that I use every single time that I am down. And I do not allow myself to be down too long, but I do allow myself to be down. I'm not a saint. I'm not, better than anybody else. I'm a normal human being. Things happen, I'm not going to lie. It kicked my ass, it whooped my ass quite badly, that September. And I wasn't feeling fine, and I wasn't feeling smiley, and I wasn't feeling like I want to speak to people and, and even do sales or get in people's DMs. That's why I've made decisions that I'm restructuring my business so that I can allow myself, with new structures, new systems, to be able to not speak to people, to be able to not be there physically, to be able to not have to always give 200% when I'm not feeling 200%. But I am taking my business seriously, and that is why I'm not leaving it completely. I'm finding solutions in my head. Step 3, finding solutions. Okay, this has not been working for me. I have been really, really, really miserable, and I don't want to project that onto people. So what are the solutions? What are the alternatives? What are the other options? But at the same time, I'm sitting here in my, like, if you saw me, I've got sweatpants on, it's like I'm literally just like that's the way I am on a daily basis, and I'm being silly. I spent the last week talking about crystals with my son because he's got a project at school that he needs to wing, and just being normal, just being myself. And like I said, sometimes I'm just sitting down and I'm thinking like, okay, what else can happen? Like, bring it on, because I can't believe that it's been so much in such a short time span, and now it just can it can just get better.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it's so funny because it's true. So when life hits, sometimes it hits hard, and those punches, they keep coming. When you think what else could possibly happen, that's when something else happens. It's just Murphy's Law.
But yeah, exactly. They come in packs, but then
like you said, I think the biggest thing is knowing it but not staying there. That's gonna be the key. It's just not, we're all gonna have times where we stumble, where we fall, but not staying there.
yeah. It should go mind, heart, body. Mind, heart, body. Always think mind, heart, body, right? Accept, appreciate, act. Nothing that would be that. Thank you for the topic, Ian. I really do appreciate that. I hope you guys liked it as well. As usual, we would love to know your opinions and your comments. How are you dealing with your own struggles? Are you really taking yourself seriously? Are you putting lots and lots of pressure on yourself? Is that burning you out? Or are you able to sometimes just let go and laugh? And also, did you find the tips that we provided for you today valuable? If yes, show us some love by giving us a thumbs up, by by liking, hearting our podcast, and leaving us a review. We would really, really love to see some reviews of the podcast. It's been a few episodes right now. I think we're on episode 14 today, and we would love to know what you think. So please do leave us a little review on the platform of your choice. We're on all major podcast platforms. You're going to see a row of them right here, right now at the bottom, as I'm speaking. And if you are on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube week by week, do leave us a comment. We love to see your comments. Do leave us a thumbs up and subscribe if that's what you wish. Next week, I would like to actually continue the topic because there had been some requests about entitled behavior. So kind of piggybacking on taking yourself too seriously as a business owner may result in you kind of coming across as a little bit entitled. And what does that entitlement mean for the people that are observing you? I would like to talk about it in our next episode, or one of the next episodes. So do subscribe so that you don't miss this episode, as well as the future ones that are coming. We've got some super, super cool topics lined up, and we would love to share them with you. So this is it for us. This is it for this week, guys. Love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to see you next week, and I'm going to see you next week, Ian, as well.
I'll be here. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Thank you, guys.
Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.